So I'm pretty sure we've all gone to a Halloween shop and seen these fake wounds like this. Well, I'm gonna show you how to make your own.
Blood and brain is what they crave. Endless horror, insane disaster. The undead walk the streets. A single street of the dead.
For this project, you will need wax paper, some craft brushes, some scar wax, liquid latex, translucent powder. So, here is your wax paper. Be sure to use the wax side up. That's the shiny side. If you can't tell, scratch it a little bit. You should feel the wax on it. So I've poured a little liquid latex into a small cup. Okay, so the first thing you will want to do is you will put a thin layer of this down on the wax paper. This is going to be your base for the wound. You will probably want to put at least 2 or 3 thin coats of this first. Doesn't have to be neat. Could be in a square or circle. You're going to trim off the excess anyway. Wait for it to dry and then do the next layer. It will start to look clear when it is dry. You can speed this up with a blow dryer if you wish. As you can see, my first coat is starting to dry. Just wanted to give you an idea of what that looks like. See, parts of it are starting to become clear. So I can probably start putting my second coat on now. So I've created 2 workspaces here with latex. These are just 3 thin coats of latex on top of wax, on the wax paper. I generally like to put down the base coat larger than what the actual wound is going to be, just because it's better to have a nice large workspace and you can just trim off any excess latex later on. Okay, now we are going to take our scar wax and I'm going to take some of this out. You can use a little spatula if you have it. I'm just going to use the back end of my brush here. So as you can see, I just put a blob of that wax right on there. And I'm going to start to shape it. So you want to keep it the thickest in the middle. And you see how I'm sort of pushing the wax out. You want it the thinnest at the edges. Don't go outside your layer of latex. Keep it inside the base that you put down. So just sort of feather them out. So as you can see, you've got kind of a bump there. Next, you will want to start to sculpt the wound. You could use the back end of your brush, or if you have any kind of like metal object, you could even use a butter knife if you wanted. I'm just going to make an indentation. Let me show you this way, it's easier. Just press into it. That's roughly what that looks like. For this one, I'm going to do more of a hole. So I'm just going to dig right in there. Okay, so there's the hole I created. Alright, so we're going to start to put some coats of latex on it. Again, keep the coats thin. Be sure to get inside every nook and cranny. Okay, that's the first coat, and we're just going to wait for that to dry. Okay, that's just about dry. So I'm going to put my second coat on. For the very last coat, you may want to take the broken end of a makeup sponge and just sort of tap it while it's still very wet to give it some texture. Do not wait to do this. Do this immediately because if the latex becomes too tacky, you'll just wind up ripping it off the paper and you'll probably have to start over. If you don't have a makeup sponge, you can use the brush and just sort of stipple like that. Again, we're just going to stipple this for some texture. Okay, so this is the hole that we've made, and this has about 3 coats of latex on top of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our powder and we're going to powder it. You can use your finger, you could use the sponge. You just want to dust it with some powder to take the tackiness off of it. I'm going to do this because when you try to peel it off, if you don't, it'll just stick together and it'll be very difficult to pull it apart. So just make sure you get the entire thing coated. This is what it looks like now that it's been powdered. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start to peel it off. I recommend taking a little of the powder and putting it right on the paper there, like this. And you're going to find the edge of the latex. Find an edge and start to peel it up. See, it's starting to come up over here. And you want to take the powder and get it under there right away. You want to take the stickiness off. Peel, peel, powder, powder. Just remember to keep putting the powder under there. And just start to peel it up. And you want to do this basically just so it doesn't stick to itself. And there you have it. You have a nice homemade prosthetic piece. Now, obviously I wouldn't leave it this large. I would trim around the edges to make it fit. Just be careful when trimming that you do not cut into the wax area because you want to make sure that stays sealed inside the latex. So if you're going to trim it, just make sure you trim the latex only and you don't cut into the wax area. So you would apply this and paint it up, make it look good. That will be the next video. So there you go, your own homemade prosthetic.